Starting over in a new country at 32 is weird. You're not 22 figuring out things with excitement and chaos, neither you are 40 with a super stable plan. You are right in the middle with expectations, dreams, dramas, also a lot to lose, but also a lot to gain. So in today's video, we're going to talk about reality of what it feels when you uproot your life at 32 and start all over again. So let me start by saying why I chose to move, what was not working. Actually, it's not something like what was not working. I chose to move because I said yes to the person I love and I got married to him. So I had to move to another part of the country. It was a mutual decision. He didn't want to move back to the country, so I had to move with him. But also, I wanted to start something fresh, new, which would give me a lot of new opportunities. And obviously, moving to another country brings all of that excitement back. It was not like things was not working back at home for me. Things was quite stable, but again it was very monotonous. My routine was set. I was in my bubble, in my proper shell, where nothing or no one can touch me, or there was no changes which were basically happening. Everything was absolutely stable. So, do you think I'm mad for leaving a stable life and moving across the world to start something new and fresh? Maybe yes, but that's what I really wanted, a new beginning. There was a lot of push and pull, and a lot of discussion went over whether I should move to another country or no. One of the main factors, or one of the main reasons, was obviously the person who I love is in another country. Let me tell you a lot of things which I thought before I moved to New Zealand. One being, will I get my desired job? Will I get a job which would obviously not be the same as what I was doing, but at least it would be at par at with it. That was one of my thoughts. Second, moving at the age of 32 with no strong financial background, is this a decision which is correct or which is not? So obviously I had to sort a lot of things from the perspective of finance. There were a lot of thoughts regarding my family, like, leaving them and moving so far. Will I forget about them being able to live, but whether I would be able to live without them? So that was another fear which I had in my mind, I would say. Actually, that was like one of the biggest fear I would have in my mind, that if I move abroad and if my parents need something, what if they're not able to do things on their own, etc., etc. Especially when you move when you're 30s, or when you move after your 30s, age play a very huge role. And you can say that is also one of the deciding factor, because you've come in, at least I was in a bracket where I was not completely stable, but where I was not even in a phase of try and test myself as well. So there was a lot more pressure which went more intentionally, I would say, with regards to making this decision of starting a new life, being uprooted to a completely new place. The moments of loneliness, the moments of self doubt hits very hard when you are at the stage of 30s, because when you're in your 40s, you're more stable because you might have a family which you have already built, and you have them as your support system when you're moving to a new country. But if you're in your 20s or early 20s, I would say, you are more energetic, you're more excitement, you're okay to try and test everything. And in case if you fail as well, so for example, if you have picked up a profession and if you have not done well in that, you still have time to change your career, your profession, and you can even change your country. You still have a lot of time when you're in your 20s. Because for me it was like, I'm already in my 30s, so to change my career and study something, pick up something new, it's going to take another 2 3 years of mine. And when I moved to New Zealand, I was already 32. And then if I'm studying something which would be like 34 and 35, when am I going to build my career? When am I going to take up the other steps which I want to take up in my life? These are all the things I went through when I thought of moving to another country. Everyone loves their family, their friends a lot. I would be hardly anyone who would like not love, or like their family or friends, there would be someone who you would love. And missing out on the milestones, missing out on their achievement, missing out on their birthdays, anniversaries, their career growth, it becomes so difficult once you move to another country. Since the time I've moved to New Zealand, I've missed out on my parents' birthdays, their anniversaries, my friend's marriage. I mean, he's my closest friend. He's actually my closest friend, and I missed his marriage. And that was, even though he was okay with it, deep down I was literally into tears, because he had been in all my phases of life, and I missed out on his wedding. So I really wanted to be there for him, but then of course I missed out on it. So we kind of have to be prepared for missing out on things. But so I would say slowly. That's what I've heard from people as well. Slowly it becomes easy, and when you go back and just spend time with your family, with your friends, everything goes back to normal. So I've not been back to my country since the day I have arrived over here, but I'll be traveling in another month or two. So let's see how it goes then. Let's talk about whether it was harder in the age of 30s than it would have been in the age of 20s. And also let's talk about how it would have been in the 40s than it is in the 30s. Okay, so for example, if I was in my 20s, like I said, experimental age, you can do whatever you want, and if it doesn't work, you can change. But then when you're in your 30s, you have to be very aware of your time. Also, rebuilding a support system when you are in your 30s isn't instant, because when you come for universities and all, it's very easy to make friends. But when you are here on a dependent visa, it becomes very difficult to build a support system which you had previously in your own country. So that is one of the most difficult things. It's hard to start from scratch when the society expects stability. Not that I'm a person who will think a lot about society, but you still have that milestones and etc. So if you want to achieve your milestone at a certain year, in a certain age, you have that time pressure going on in your head. Let me give you an example. I cannot compare my journey to a person's journey who is back in India in their 30s, maybe same age or year or two different. But they are financially more stable than me, because a lot of money, a lot of hard work goes when you move to another country, especially the expenses of visa, the travel expenses, financial struggle would still be there for few years. I would say I'm not sure how it is going to work, but I'm pretty sure it will be still be there for few years at yourself, where you have achieved certain things. And I would not say you still compare yourself, because I would not want to compare myself to someone else. Everyone's life journey is different, and we all know that. But also the financial concerns, the career concerns, it will always feel heavier when you move, at least in the initial years of moving to another country. Why it is still difficult than people in their 40s? So I've seen a lot of families move here when they are in their 40s. They move on their resident visa, or some skill visa, etc. But like I said, they have their family support, so it becomes a little bit easy for them emotionally. Also, because they have lived in a country for such a long time, they have some financial backup, I would say, which someone in the 30s would be lacking. I was lacking, but I'm not sure about others. Some might be stable, but compare myself to a person who is in their 40s. Of course, someone who is moving into their 40s, they will have their own challenges. But the good thing for them would be they come with a lot of experience. Also, they would come with a financial stability, the two thing which people in 30s are kind of in the midst. But you know what makes it better? When I moved, I clearly knew what I want. Okay, so you have a clear thought, you have a lot of experience, not a lot of experience, but you have experience where you know what are the mistakes you have made and what you don't want to repeat. You have an emotional maturity to process tough days, and I'll tell you, this is so important. Anyone who is, I mean, everyone has a different phase of getting mature, but especially people who are in their 30s, they are quite mature to understand and process their feeling, how they are going through, and what would make it better. So that is really helpful. When you're making this decision of moving to another country, you have a mental clarity. When you're in your 30s, you have a mental clarity, you know what you're looking for. There are certain things which you have put down for yourself, you know what is achievable, what is not achievable, and um, at least you have a gist of how your life is going to look like if you compare yourself to 20s. I mean, if I would have moved here, or if I would have moved to another country in my 20s, I would have taken a lot of chances. I know myself, I would have taken a lot of chances of trying and testing things. But because when I moved here in a 30, that worked as an advantage. You would be able to celebrate small wins. Small wins will be more meaningful to you than it would have been in your if you would have been in your 20s. Because and if it would be more meaningful to you even when you are in your 40s, because if you are in your 40s, you would expect that from yourself, however, and if you're in your 20s, you wouldn't take it very lightly. But when you're in your 30s, you know that you have struggled for it. I mean, obviously other times also you would know that you have struggled for it and you have achieved it. But I feel, if I've done even a small thing, it's very meaningful to me. So I would say my last, or my final thoughts for anyone who is starting in their 30s or 40s, I would say, or even in their 20s, I would say that take your time. It's not a race that you have to rush through things. Take your time, think about it, plan out certain things, because planning helps a lot. Make yourself emotionally strong. If you have a financial backup, well and good. If not, I would say create one. Plan things for your family back home, and make sure that they are self sufficient when you move back over here, or there is someone who they can fall on if they require help. Celebrate any process. You will see a lot of personal growth when you move to another country. You will see yourself growing, and you know what, appreciate it. Appreciate that you have learned a lot, and you have you know navigated your life through all these things. So the more you celebrate, the more it will make you feel happy. Take your time. It's not a race. Everything will come to you on a perfect time. Okay, do not compare your journey to someone else's journey. Some people will find a job, get a job very easily, but some of you might take time. Okay, so do not compare yourself to anyone else. There is no timeline to it. Give yourself a breather, I would say. If you're going through a tough situation, or if while finding job, I have done a video on it. If you want to know how my journey was when I was looking out for job, I've made a video on of it, and I'll link it down in the description, so you can go through that and document your journey. I mean, this is so important now. I've mentioned in most of my videos, I have a lot of journaling. So I probably put down my feelings, my achievements, my good days, my bad days, everything in that book. So when I go back and I read through my journey, or even when I think about it, you would know where you have come and how difficult it was, and you will be so proud of yourself. I mean, I am so proud of myself. I love myself though, but still I'm very proud of myself. If you're in your 30, 32, 45, 35, and you think it's too late, you have started your journey too late, trust me, you have not. Trust me, you have not. You are building a life on your own terms. Is it scary? Yes, definitely yes. But it is also incredibly powerful. If you are on this path, I would love to know what is your side of the story. And I promise you, it's not that difficult and you can get through it. Anyways, that's it for today's video. I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and take care, and like, share, and subscribe. Bye bye.